Have you ever wondered how your childhood affected you? Are you able to easily and readily identify your feelings or verbalize your needs? Did you sometimes step into the role of parent, and how does that experience impact your relationships today? These are some of the questions that life answers. Hello, I'm Dr. Kurt Levang, the creator of life. As part of my clinical training, I was fortunate enough to study with Al Peso and Diane Boyden-Peso, who developed Peso-Boyden System Psychomotor, or PBSP. I've used the principles of PBSP as a theoretical basis for life.
Dr. Levang is a licensed psychologist, marriage and family therapist. Published in several scientific journals, he has been in practice for over 35 years. Dr. Levang's books address the issues of shame in relationships, and he has been a clinical director and supervisor in a number of outpatient mental health facilities. As a seasoned professional, Kurt Levang has a deep and abiding commitment to improving the lives of people who struggle emotionally. What is at the core of PBSP? Well, it's all about interactions. Al Peso teaches that we were created in a way that our very DNA pushes us to survive. Not just in a survival of the fittest way, but with full and complete expectations and anticipation that our needs will be met. When this inner need is met by an outside match, our brain releases endorphins, the happy drug, that cause us to experience a state of blissful pleasure. What are these needs, and how can we have a greater sense of joy, bliss, and pleasure? As a starting point in understanding the life assessment, there are two dynamics: shape-countershape and shape-contrashape. Within our bodies, there is an innate shape that looks for external fulfillment or validation. When the outside world matches our inside world, there is a countershape. Shape-countershape works like this. If a baby is hungry, the countershape would be the mother nursing the infant. If a child is sad, the countershape would be the parent saying, "Oh honey, you look sad. Come here and I will hold you and you can tell me what happened." The inner shape is sadness, and the countershape is the parent naming the feeling, validating and comforting the child. As inner shapes are identified through countershapes, the child begins to know herself and she develops an ego. The ego is like a banner that says to the world, "This is who I am." For example, a child is drawing and the parent exclaims, "Wow, you are quite a little artist. Here, let's get you some more crayons and paper, and then we can put your art on the refrigerator." The inner shape is given a name, is blessed, and the child can now proudly state, "Look, Daddy, I'm an artist." These loving interactions provide a sort of skin to the soul. If, on the other hand, that little girl draws a picture at school and a classmate remarks, "That looks silly, that's not how it's supposed to look," because of the previous countershape from her parent, the girl can say, "That's all right that you don't like it. I do." Here, the child's inner resources protect her self-identity, and her thick skin acts as a barrier. Shape, contrashape. Unfortunately, not all interactions are counter-shaped. Many are contrashaped. Here, the outside world does not match our inside world. Contrashape looks like this. The child cries, but the parent is unwilling to interact. They may respond to the crying with, "Just stop it," or "I don't want to hear your crying." The inner shape, sadness, is not seen, named, validated, or accepted, but rather cut off and blocked, which looks like this. Or the child gleefully announces, "Daddy, look, I got a gold star at school," but the parent may be intoxicated, ill, watching TV, reading their cell phone feed, and not even look at the child. The inner shape is ignored or neglected. Lastly, an even more severe contrashape is abuse. When abuse happens, it looks like this. The boundaries of the child's inner shape are violated, so there is no skin around the ego. This results in the child not knowing who they really are. Contrashape interactions result in the ego looking like this. The circles represent actual memories that the child has made as it attempts to interpret what the abuse means. So if the child is screamed at, hit, ignored, or physically violated, they may begin to believe or develop an inner voice that says, "Nobody likes me or cares about me." All of us have inner beliefs that we learned as children, and over time, these beliefs become hardened and form our self-identity. Unfortunately, we take these as the truth about who we are, what we can expect from relationships, and how our future will unfold. Where contra-shape has occurred, these inner beliefs may say, "Nothing will ever work out. Everyone is only out for themselves. Don't let your guard down or you will get run over." These beliefs are also coping strategies as they help us to know how to react to others. However, they are destructive to the soul as they were made from contra-shape interactions, where the soul was not given a loving interaction. Without that loving interaction, that part of you was never allowed to be born and welcomed into the world. The very, very good news is that part of your soul and true self keeps pressing to be born and does not relent, no matter your age. There is still a push for your needs to be expressed and counter-shaped. When you identify original memories that were contra-shaped, you can learn and use interventions, what we call antidotes, to help build a new memory to reverse the experience of that painful contra-shape. When this happens, the brain takes the new memory as reality, and a new inner voice and self-identity is formed. That new voice and self-identity may say, "I can show feelings, others will care," or "my needs are just normal, not shameful or too much." Once the shape is counter-shaped, the body will feel a grief relief response, as it will feel the loss for having lived without this part of the soul so long. But now there is a deep relief of finally being able to regain that banner of who you really are, and a new sense of permission that you can be who you were destined to be. You may breathe more easily, and your lost and diminished energies can now be overturned so that you can literally feel lighter.
I hope you found this video helpful in beginning to understand some of your early shape counter-shape and shape contra-shape life experiences and how they have impacted you. Having a more fruitful and meaningful life is possible. The Levang Inventory of Family Experiences, or life, can be the first step in understanding your shape counter-shape and shape contra-shape experiences. If you are interested in taking life or in learning more about my work, please contact me at Kurt Levang at levangandassociates.com or at facebook.com/life assessment.